G'day, Steeler Nation. Welcome back to episode 8 of Steelers Nation Australia. And g'day, Steelers Nation on the Steel Curtain Network. It's been 8 weeks since I've started this project back with SEN, and it's been a lot of fun. And we're getting closer and closer to the draft. Now, I said last week I'm not a draft guy. And my audience out there from Steel Nation Oz on YouTube also knows that I'm not a draft guy. I just simply don't watch college football. I watch the Steelers. I watch the NFL. I've been watching a bit of the UFL. I watch sport in general. We watch like rugby league here. I follow my Manly Seagulls. I have a good time watching that. I play pickleball. I watch a little bit of tennis here and there with the Australian Open. And I don't really have any team or college for the NCAA. And right now, there's the March Madness with basketball. But when I was in the States, and you guys over there in America love sport, that's why I always want to try and make this like a bar setting when you're sitting down. If you're driving or you're making coffee or you're having dinner or you've got me on the big screen TV or whatever it may be, in terms of audio, you listen to a bloke from Australia talking football, talking Steelers, and this episode, in episode number 8. And we've been waiting for Aaron Rodgers to sign, but it looks like it's not going to happen, or it may happen shortly. In the second half of the program, I might do that. I might talk about A-Roll. But for this point, I want to talk about sport, and I want to talk about something that happened yesterday or 2 days ago, and that was a record-breaking milestone for the NHL and record-breaking goal for Alex Ovechkin. Now, if you don't know, Wayne Gretzky, which many people do know who do follow NHL or sport, they know his name. He had the most goals scored in NHL history with 894. Until a few days ago, Alex Ovechkin from the Washington Capitals, who played the same number of games, 1487, has now scored 895 goals to be the leading player in the NHL, the most goals scored ever. And that's in history. We are living through history right now. So when you look back in 20 years' time, if it doesn't get, a record is made to be broken. If it's not broken again, you look back and go, I used to watch that player, Ovechkin, play, and I know where I was. I saw it happen. Well, I woke up this morning and I checked Twitter, and I knew he was quite close. And I love this kind of stuff from the sports angle. I love stats. I love how people get behind their team. If it is hockey or baseball, if it is football, or if it's our Steelers, I love it. I think it's awesome. So Ovechkin he got delivered a pass. I think it was versing the New York Islanders. I believe he was down 0-2, or the team was, and they end up losing the game. But it doesn't really matter if they won or lost the game, right? The Washington Capitals are doing quite well this year. It doesn't matter. What matters is that he broke history, and it was 895, and they had a 17-minute celebration period after the goal was scored because it's that important to the game. He's number one in the NHL right now for the most goals scored. And you're probably thinking right now, as you've just like flipped your omelet or turned the steak over or whatever it is you guys are doing at the moment, you're probably thinking, Mark, why and how does this relate back to our Steelers? Well, first of all, I didn't want to talk about Aaron Rodgers again, or not at least for the first 15, 20 minutes. I want to try to avoid the A-Rod talk because it has been so quiet, and I feel like it's just been, overused, and the QB talk is just going on and on and on and on. And I wanted to do something pretty relevant, and what more relevant than seeing what happened yesterday in the NHL, in America, in sport, that a stat was broken for the great Wayne Gretzky had the most goals scored, and we get to live it in person. Now, I'm not a hockey fan. I'm a football fan. I'm a Steelers fan. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan through and through. I love the NFL. But with hockey, I do know enough to get myself around the game where I've been to a few games in Pittsburgh. Previously, this year, I saw them win a game against Philadelphia, against the Flyers, and won 6-2 or something like that near Christmas. And a few years ago, I saw them beat the New Jersey Devils. So I know a bit to get myself around the game and hold myself in conversation and what determines an offside and, power play and stuff like that. So, but I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty cool to give him some recognition and also tie this back to the NFL and tie this back to our Steelers. And there's one topic of conversation that I think a lot of podcasts are starting to talk about now, and that is the contract of TJ Watt. And it made me think, if Ovechkin was chasing down history that was the goals set by Gretzky at 894 in the same games played, 1487, then TJ Watt could be chasing down the sack record of Bruce Smith, who has 200 sacks. That number might seem crazy, might seem far-fetched. Oh my goodness, 200 sacks for Bruce Smith. Reggie White has 198. Deacon Jones, 173.5. Kevin Green, a Steeler, 160. Julius Peppers, 159. Jack Youngblood, 151. The list goes on and on and on. Terrell Suggs, the Raven, 139. Jared Allen, the Viking, 136. If you keep going down the list, and I will talk about TJ Watt's contract, this all comes into it, right? TJ Watt is one of the best Steelers that we've had in recent time. There's Cameron Hayward, he's fantastic. He in his own right is a Hall of Famer, and I want to see the Steelers have some playoff success and build the defense again and build up D-line in the draft, maybe round one, and help out Hayward, help out this team, help out TJ Watt. But you go down the list in terms of chasing and breaking records. TJ Watt is 44 on that list with 108 sacks, and he's played 8 seasons. And also in those 8 seasons, in 2022, he only played 10 games because of injury. So he's played 121 games and he has 108 sacks, which is roughly about 13.5 per season. Now with TJ Watt last season, it felt like a down year. In 2024, he only had 11.5 sacks, and it felt like a down year, didn't it? It felt a bit off. But 11.5 is still pretty good for someone who's on the edge, creating havoc as a pass rusher, one of the best in the game. And that's coming off like in 2021, he had 22. In 2023, he had 19, after his injury. So he's 44 on this list. And when I saw the highlights, to bring it back to Ovechkin and Wayne Gretzky, when I saw the highlights this morning when I woke up on Twitter, and I love feel-good stories. I love the underdog story. Like when I first started watching football, it was the movie The Little Giants, all that kind of stuff. I love these kind of moments in sport where you get to witness history firsthand. And when I saw this moment from Ovechkin scoring the goal 895 to become the number one most goal scorer in NHL career, I started thinking, who could do things like that for the Steelers? And instantaneously, I thought of TJ Watt. Then I thought, okay, let's refresh my memory. I went back and watched 22 minutes of TJ Watt sacking quarterbacks for the first 100. And then he had 100, now he has 108 for his career. And when you break it down, in terms of the contract that is TJ Watt's contract, he has one more year on his deal, 2025, and there has been some trade talk, but that's through rumors and fake sites out there, or fake news and different kinds of terrible podcasts that will say there's actual news of TJ Watt being traded. You see clickbait articles all the time and clickbait YouTube videos with AI, and it says TJ Watt is going to be traded. I don't think the Steelers are going to do that. I think they're going to make TJ Watt a Steeler, a one-man team throughout his whole career, and he could have another good 8 years in him. He's played 8 years already, and he's going to be 31 in 2025. He could play into his 37 and play 16 years in the league and have a chance to break the record that is Bruce Smith's record with 200 sacks. TJ Watt could eventually become the leading NFL's sacker, like dead set at the top, 201. And I started to do a bit of the math. So he's got 108 in 8 seasons, which would mean he would need then, I guess, 92 to tie. So 92 over the next, let's say, 7 years. He plays, let's say he signs a contract for the Steelers for the next 5 years and he gets a better deal or a bigger deal than Myles Garrett, right? And then he has the next 5 years or whatever it may be with the Steelers, and then signs another friendly deal for 2 or 3. So he has 92 sacks to get in about 7 years. And I divided this up, and 92 divided by 7 is 13.1. That's the same amount of average that he gets each year. Now, of course, he had the down year with his injury, and he had 11 last year. But right now, at the moment, his average is around 13 sacks a year. If TJ Watt stays healthy and is a Steeler through and through, let's say even if he wasn't a Steeler and he goes and signs somewhere else, he could still potentially be on this chase over the next 7 to 8 years in his career, turning 38 years of age near maybe the last year of his career. He could chase down Bruce Smith's record of 200 sacks. Now, could you imagine that? I know there are fans out there right now saying this is all talk that's in, we're in April. We just went back from our daylight savings, so we've lost an hour, but I'm still 16 hours in front, 9 hours behind the news cycle. And there are fans out there saying, yeah, Mark, that's all well and good. We want TJ Watt to have the most sacks in history. At the same time, we want to see Super Bowls. We want to see championships. I do as well. I 100% do as well. I want to see championships. I want to see the Steelers hoist another Lombardi, make it number 7, make it number 8. Every year I want to see it happen, right? But I thought this was kind of fun to at least entertain the idea. If Ovechkin, sorry, not Ovechkin. I'm getting all my words mixed up. Ovechkin, if he can chase down 894 from Gretzky, right? Ovechkin or Gretzky, I'm getting all the words mixed up. Then why can't TJ Watt chase down the all-time sack record with 201? I paused for a minute because that would be freaking outstanding. Could you imagine going to a party and your team is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and in the back of your, I guess, Steelers lore or history book, someone talks about the Browns, someone talks about the loser Cincinnati Bengals who have been to Super Bowls and can't win them, and we could say that one of our players, an only team player, TJ Watt, signed the contract for 16 years, played for our franchise that we love and support, broke the record of all-time sacks with 201. I just want to leave you guys there for a minute. I thought it was really important to talk about Ovechkin making history, and still, he might play for the next few years. I don't know what his contract is with Washington Capitals or where his head's at in terms of playing, but he's still got time. He might want to go to 1,000. He might want to try and extend his playing time to go to 1,000. And I thought it was pretty cool to at least try and identify what player or players on the Steelers roster would be very similar to this. I think TJ Watt stands out. I really do. I think TJ Watt stands out as that guy to be a one-time player for his team, like Ovechkin is. He's played for the Capitals, been a captain for a long time. He's almost played 1,500 games. He's got a lot of assists and points and games under his belt and goals and all these things. I thought TJ Watt's kind of like that. Could he go on a bit of a run next year to get, Defensive Player of the Year, at least a shot at it? And there was one year where they should have gave it to him. They gave it to Myles Garrett. Can TJ Watt go on a bit of a spur again to get 14 sacks, 15 sacks, 16 sacks, whatever it may be? Get some help with Highsmith and Herbig and the fellas up front with Benton and Cameron Hayward, and start to chase down that record, right? And I looked into it even further. When I looked into the stats, like he's 44 on the list. If he were to get 20 sacks, so let's say he gets 20 sacks this season, or let's say he gets 22. 22 like he's high. And I know it's kind of crazy to say that because it was in 2022. Let's say TJ Watt gets 22. He would then move all the way up the list to around 130, and he would be 24 on the list above Von Miller, who's 129.5. But Von Miller, I believe he's still playing in the NFL, so he might still extend his lead too. So just for one season, TJ Watt is sitting on 108. He could get 22 sacks or 20 sacks and move up to 128. And then he's chasing down that 200. Now, I'm not TJ Watt's friend or father or anything like that or agent, but I guarantee you, in the back of his mind somewhere, he's thinking about that. I would be. I know he wants championships. I know he wants a team he's a team player. TJ Watt is so good on the field and so good off the field. He's got his little baby, was born a few months ago. So family life's kicking. He's got some really good, family life with the JJ Watt and everything's happening. It's all kinds of fun, right? But in the back of his mind, he's got to be thinking somewhere is how do I chase down that 200 number? And how do I become the number one player in NFL to be the sack leader of 200? Right? It has to be somewhere in the back of his mind. Anyway, Steeler Nation, I'm going to go to a quick little break here on Steeler Nation Australia and also on G'day Steelers Nation on Steel Curtain Network. When I saw that goal from Alex Ovechkin, I was like, yeah, this could be someone very similar to our Steelers. So I'm going to take a quick little break and I'll come back with some more news and reports and some ideas, what's happening in the next few weeks in terms of the Steelers and some mock draft things or things like that, or things of the draft and, what's going to happen pretty much in the next few weeks. Alrighty, Steeler Nation, welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia, and welcome back to G'day Steelers Nation on SEN Network. Thank you guys for having me and listening to the episode number 8. In the first part, I was talking about TJ Watt and his chance to be a record-breaking NFL league-leading sack player. It could definitely happen, right? But the Steelers need to reach out and figure out a contract. I don't think there's going to be a trade. You don't trade away your best player. It's not going to happen. TJ Watt is going to be a Steeler through and through. He's going to wear the black and gold until his very last snap as a Steeler. It's going to happen. They're going to probably sign him for a 4-year, maybe a 5-year deal. Figure out the money. I know the Steelers are still trying to figure out Aaron Rodgers, and I'm going to talk about him in just a second. But the Steelers also got to figure out, how do we extend, and we need to make a deal with TJ Watt to extend him 4 or 5 years. It's going to happen. So I hope he signs very soon. It could happen, during after the draft or during the June or July training camps, and give TJ Watt big money, sign him for 4 or 5 years. And then you sort out the rest later on. But I do also want to talk about this stuff to do with A-Rod. It's been really quiet. And we're going to find out very soon. And this goes back to hockey again. And I've been to this place, and maybe a lot of fans out there who live in Pittsburgh have also been to PPG Paints Arena. And the reason why I bring this up, and this feels a little bit like a hockey episode. I've talked about the Mighty Ducks. I've talked about Wayne Gretzky. I've talked about Alex Ovechkin, who has the most goals now in AHL. So it's got a bit of a hockey theme to it as well, right? And we play hockey here, but we play like grass hockey, and sometimes we play, a bit of ice hockey as well. In the next few days, and I believe it's like April 9th, when this episode comes out around the same time, Pat McAfee has a show in Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers has still yet to sign with an NFL team. There's been reports and rumors that he's going to sign with the Minnesota Vikings. There's been reports, which were true, that he was at the Steelers facility, and we talked about that last week. And there's been rumors and also more reports that the Steelers are looking likely to sign A-Rod to a deal. And that could be a 1-year or 2-year deal. And there was also talk from the owners, or the owner, Art Rooney II, said he's kind of waiting to get the deal done. And he doesn't want to wait too long, though. But it could be happening shortly. Now, we've been waiting around for the last 7 or so days since the owners' meeting, and nothing's really happened. There's been no talk around A Rod in that sense. However, the same time with A Rod and the Pat McAfee show is in Pittsburgh on April 9th, 8 p.m. Could this be a possibility that A Rod walks out into PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh with a terrible towel and says, "Hey, I'm signing to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have now announced it on the Pat McAfee show, and it goes mega viral. And Pat Mac, I think he's doing a live show in Pittsburgh, and the cameras and the audience, and there's like, 40,000 fans in attendance or whatever it may be. And they're just all going crazy that Aaron Rodgers has signed to the Steelers. This to me feels like it's going to happen. Not saying it will happen, but if all signs are pointing yes, that Aaron Rodgers is going to sign for our Steelers wearing the black and gold, this would be the perfect time to do so. Now, you can also imagine this the exact same time that A-Rod goes on the show or makes an appearance and he could announce his retirement. And the Steelers would then maybe have wasted 3 months, 2 months talking about this and going back and forth and having meetings. And I think the fan base was also wasted their time listening and trying to find out ideas if it was going to happen. I would be kind of frustrated because now I've done a 360 on this. I'm not happy he's going to sign, or looks like the reports that he is going to be a Steeler in 2025, but I've kind of dealt with it. I'm kind of like, it's whatever. I'm happy. I'll go with it. I'll just flow with it. If A-Rod signs, fine. You know what? It's just the way it is. I just got to move on and hope for a really fun season, and maybe possibly he can do enough to not get us in trouble. We can play good defense. We can win some playoff games. And maybe TJ Watt, Cameron Hayward, and the defense, Minka, step up and we can win games 21 to 10, 24, 26 to 17 or 14, and play some lights out defense with a veteran quarterback who will be going to the Hall of Fame. Even though I don't think it's the right fit for the Steelers, I've accepted it. I'm okay with it, right? I put myself in that mode right now where I'm like, I'm okay with it. It's fine. It's all good that A-Rod's going to be our quarterback, probably wearing number 8, because I don't think the Steelers are going to give him Terry Bradshaw's number 12. Now, with all that being said, it might come down to April 9th. I think it's 8 p.m. Pittsburgh, PPG, Paints Arena, where the Penguins play, and they're in the stadium. Pat McAfee is hosting the show. It's the Pat Mac show. Everything's ramped up. Everything's getting fired up. Pat McAfee's getting everyone riled up, crazy. Crowds going crazy. And they make an announcement that A-Rod walks out of the tunnel, red carpet, with 2 terrible towels in his hand and waving both, or 1 terrible towel in his hand, and starts waving and waving and waving and waving. And he says, "I'm going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler." Now, that would actually be close to breaking the internet. And most times I miss this because I'm sound asleep, and when I wake up, I find the news out. But that happened with James Debo Harrison when he signed for the Patriots. I was like, oh, no way. And even James Debo Harrison signed to the Bengals, which I can't stand. It happened with AB when I woke up again, and I was like, oh my goodness, AB was going to be a Raider. All these kind of things always happen, and I miss it because it happens during the day. But this time, there's a possibility with the Pat McAfee show in Pittsburgh that A-Rod could come out and the deal could be done, and maybe they're just working out financial terms. Maybe they're working out when to release it. I'm hoping it gets done by at least the draft, so we can go into the draft knowing who our quarterback is, with QB1 and QB2 possibly being Mason Rudolph. And if it doesn't get done, then is Mason Rudolph QB1? I talked about that 3 or 4 weeks ago. I'm happy as well if Mason Rudolph is going to be QB1. But it really comes down to, in a few days' time, because Aaron Rodgers hasn't signed anywhere else, that he could possibly walk out of the tunnel onto the Pat McAfee show with a terrible towel in hand and say, you know what? I'm going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. And that really could break the internet. Could break the internet, and Yinders on one side will be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that A-Rod is signing. How cool is that? I'm so happy. And the other side, the other 51% or 50% of Yinzers on the other side are saying, oh my goodness, I can't believe that Aaron Rodgers is signing to our Steelers. He sucks. He's terrible. He's 41, almost turning 42. He's washed up. He's done. Why? Why is he signing to be a Pittsburgh Steeler? And you know what? I think in both cases could be right. 100% on both sides could be right. There is no losing argument on if you support A-Rod or if you're against A-Rod. That's your opinion. That's what you guys seeing. If we're in a bar chilling, we're eating pizza, we're having wings. We just saw Ovechkin score the Alex Ovechkin to score the most goals in NHL history. And we're sitting there having a beer and we're thinking, do you think that Aaron Rodgers is going to go on the Pat McAfee show and he's going to stand up and wave his terrible towel and say, I'm going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler? Could be a big possibility. Anyway, Steeler Nation, I'll leave you with that. So thank you for listening to G'day Steelers Nation, episode 8. I hope you guys are enjoying this on YouTube, also enjoying this on Steel Curtain Network. It's a bit of fun thinking about TJ Watt's career. I highly recommend you go back and watch that. You go back and watch TJ Watt's first 100 sacks. It's a lot of fun. He has 108 in his career. Could he be chasing down 92 more over the next 6, 7, 8 years to be the number one NFL player with the most sacks in NFL history at 201? I'll tell you one thing, and the reason why I bring it up too. Here's one last impression why I think he has to do it. Do not let Myles Garrett do it. That's all I'm saying. Don't let Myles Garrett have this. Myles Garrett signed his contract with the Browns, and he's also sitting on around 100 and something as well. I believe Garrett with the Browns, and he's got a five-year extension. TJ Watt is 44. Myles Garrett is sitting at 58th on the list. He has 102.5. Do not allow Myles Garrett to climb the ranks and also chase down the record and get to 201. It's TJ Watt. He's going to sign a contract for 5-6 years or whatever it may be. He's going to be a Pittsburgh Steel for life. He's sitting on 108. You got to see an average of 13 or 14 or 15 per year over the next 7-8 years and be a one Pittsburgh Steel for life. And he's going to get the record of 201. Do not let Myles Garrett take the fame and get up there either. Now, Myles Garrett's a great player, but I cannot respect him for what he did to Rudolph many, many years ago, and I never will. I just think that's total chaos to hurt someone and to use someone's helmet as a weapon to try and take someone's head off. I don't respect that at all. So thank you, Steeler Nation, for checking out G'day Steelers Nation on the Steel Curtain Network. It's been a fun show today. And thank you, Steelers Nation Australia. I've been very busy in my life with social things going on, work going on. There hasn't been too much Steeler news. But I thought, you know what? Let's tie this back to the NHL record for the most goals scored for Alex Ovechkin to beat surpassing Wayne Gretzky. And how could the Steelers do this on their side? Well, you know what it is? It's our version of Wayne Gretzky at the moment. There's a lot of Steeler players. There's a lot of greats. There's a lot of greats out there in Steelers history. But TJ Watt is definitely the current version. Like he's up there. TJ Watt is unbelievable at his craft. The way he can just swim past defenders. And, you know, he even gets held like 3 or 4 times in one play. And he still gets a sack. Or he's not even getting flags, and he's pushing through defenders and knocking down opponents and getting to the quarterback. And, you know, he gets through the swim move and pass rush, and he knocks in a fumble, and see you later, quarterback. It's a sack. So thank you, Steeler Nation, for checking out Steelers Nation on Steel Curtain Network and also on Steelers Nation Australia. I'll see you guys next time.